Well, it's the end of June, and I thought I would review what the garden looks like now. We started planting about mid-May. That's when our last frost is in mid-Illinois. And here's where we are now. You can see in this patio garden here, I have several pots of flowers that are doing well. We've got the marigolds that are doing fine. The zinnias are finally starting to bloom. These will continue to grow and get taller and taller, and August is their best time on that. Over on this side I have another pot of fan flower. We have a hibiscus in a pot. Behind the roses I have some Shasta daisies growing. They're perennials. They come back every year. And inside the fence, next to the roses or behind them, are some cosmos. They're not growing particularly tall this year, but the summer has just started, so we'll see what happens. Now as we walk through the garden, this pot in the shade garden is filled with coleus. They love the shade and get a little bit of morning sun. That's about it. Over here is New Guinea impatiens. They get a little bit of afternoon sun, but they're mostly in the shade during the day. Along this end of the garden, we have the vinca, which I've shown before. And they get full, bright afternoon sun. This garden I call the fence garden. It's mostly perennials. There are several hydrangea bushes, which I'll come back in another week or two, and they should be starting to be bloomed out, and I'll talk about them more then. You can see these two, endless summer hydrangea, and there are some blooms starting there. This is a hydrangea and it's all leaves, but in another 3 weeks maybe we'll start to get some bloom there. Limelight. The daylilies are continuing to grow and to bloom. There are several different types of daylilies. These are gold and yellow. These will be a whole new set of blooms here. The prior homeowner loved daylilies and they planted several different varieties. You can see the geraniums. It's been so dry, and geraniums love the dry weather, so we've got a good crop. The false sunflowers are up and growing. I've got a small fence around there, and that not only keeps the rabbits away, but it's helped prop them up. And we'll get flowers on the false sunflowers all continue the rest of the summer. I wanted to show you here in the back, this is echinacea or cone flowers, just now starting to get some blooms opening up at the top here the last of June. Those are perennials, and we've had those for 2 or 3 years. Now as we walk toward the back of the yard, This is a Rose of Sharon bush. It's a type of hibiscus. It has buds all over it. It's not starting to bloom yet, but it will. It looks healthy, and we expect some blooms here in another few weeks. The marigolds, the tall marigolds, are looking good. Behind the marigolds, there's black-eyed Susans, which have buds, but they're not open. The plant that's pretty is this phlox. This is a tall phlox. You can see all of the blooms starting to open here. That'll be beautiful. You can see this tour of the garden is not at its max, but it will be about mid-July. Right now we're just into the summer enough to start to enjoy all of the flowers.